Alrighty, how's it going guys? Andy here. Just a quick one for you today. I really just wanted to illustrate, I guess, the importance that pots can have when you're choosing and buying houseplants. Now obviously this is generally how a houseplant's going to come when you buy it from a garden centre or somewhere like that. Online it may actually come with a nicely selected pot, which is great. But quite often it comes like this. Now the worst thing you can possibly do is just leave it in a pot like this. It makes such a difference. Now this is a nice plant. It's a spider plant. Now it's it's fairly ubiquitous. You could even call it a beginner plant. It's pretty easy to take care of, pretty hard to kill, pretty tolerant of drying out, and it will take a range of humidities. I got given this one in a bit of a state. I think it probably been kept in a pretty warm environment because an awful lot of leaves were drying out of the tips. It's just starting to come back now. The new growth is looking good, but it's probably going to take another month or so for the bigger stuff to grow out and to have a nice bushy looking plant. But in the meantime, I think it looks pretty good so far. Just a few dry ends, otherwise it's looking fairly happy. Now the point of this video is it's a nice plant, but how much better could it look in a better pot? Now I've just got this pot that I picked up from B&Q, I think, which is a hardware store in the UK, and it was on a clearance shelf, and I think it was £1 or £2, something like that. Now check this out. Boom. That's it. That's all it is. Just stick it in a pot like that, and how much better does it look? The green complements the sort of lime greens of the plant, and when this bushes out and gets to be a slightly bigger plant itself, it's going to look so good in that pot, just because it really highlights the greens in the foliage and makes it look so much nicer. Now for the sake of £2, it's a much more, in my opinion, desirable looking plant. Probably set a little bit higher as well if I decide to actually plant it in there directly, or I could put something in the bottom underneath it just to bring it up a bit. But it just makes such a difference putting it in a pot like this. Really makes the colours pop, and for the sake of a couple of pounds, I just think it's really worth considering. So if you're buying yourself some houseplants around the house, don't forget to just spend some time finding the appropriate plant pot for that particular plant, because some pots don't go with some plants, and some pots will transform houseplants. They really do. So it's a really good fun part of the hobby to really always keep an eye open for nice and interesting pots. Even if I don't have a houseplant to go in it, if I find a nice pot and it's a reasonable price, I'm going to buy it anyway, and then I can kind of match it up as and when I find something for it. It's always nice to have a selection of pots on standby, just on hand, so I can make a decision. If I get a new plant, I can think what pot will suit it. This is just the perfect choice for this plant. I really do think so, and it's pretty simple, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. I know it might be fairly self-explanatory, but I think a lot of people will overlook it and just keep the plant in its pot it comes with. And the other reason it's worth taking out is because you don't know how long it's been in there. If it's been hanging around the garden centre for a long time, it could be really pot bound as well. So it's worth just popping the pot off and having a look to see what the situation is, because it's not going to be overly happy, or most plants aren't going to be overly happy being too bound up in its pot. So worth having a look just to see if it needs a bigger pot. And also putting it in something that's going to look really attractive. Now this one doesn't have any drainage holes, so I can either leave it in the pot like that just so I can water it and it will go straight through out the other end, which is fine. Or if I plant it directly in the pot, I just have to be careful to let it dry out in between watering, so it doesn't just sit and too much water sit in the bottom. Obviously I could have a crack at drilling the bottom of it as well if I do want drainage, but in this case, when it's inside and it's sitting on wooden surfaces like it is right now, it's better that it isn't actually flowing through. And the ideal situation is actually to have a pot within a pot like this one. You can't actually see it, and it does mean it can drain all the way through, and the water is going to be separate from the plant itself like that. So I really like that. I don't know, is it me? Am I just crazy? But these sort of things just make me very happy. The lime green of the pot against the the various different greens that are in this plant. It's only when you do something like this you realize how many different colors of green are in the spider plant. I can count probably 3 or 4 or maybe even 5 different shades of greens on these leaves. The younger ones are more vibrant, the older ones are darker. There's just so much going on, and it's your common all garden spider plant. It's a very basic plant, but I just like them. I think they look cool. They brighten up any room on a cloudy, horrible winter's day like we've got today. It's gloomy, really low light. It just really pops and brightens up any room. So that's all it was for today, guys. I looked at it and it came to mind, and I thought I would share it with you guys. And give me a thumbs up. Let's try that again. So give me a thumbs up if you agree with me with how much pots make a difference, because I don't know if it's just me being super geeky with this sort of thing, but I really do think it's worth it. And if you've got a nice plant that you really like, it deserves to be in its own pot that really stands out and displays the plant to its best ability. So I'm probably going to be covering some more sort of pot options and ideas in other videos, because choosing a pot can be tricky sometimes, but it's such a fun process and really enjoyable looking around, hunting for unusual pots, handmade pots, and even making pots yourselves, which I'm also going to go through as well. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I'm just starting this channel. I'm really looking forward to building it up and adding more videos, so plenty more of that sort of stuff to come. So I would appreciate it if you subscribe and hit that bell notification so you find out every time I upload a new video, which will be loads at the moment because I've got loads of ideas and loads of houseplants to share with you. I'm very lucky that I get given quite a lot of houseplants on a regular basis. I have a few friends that work in a garden centre, or one specific friend that works in a garden centre, I should say, and they're always sending me loads of different houseplants. Quite often they come in a little bit poorly, like this one, or like most of them, to be honest with you. Most of them have got some issues, which is why they're free. They're sort of suboptimal stock, so to speak, but I'm a sucker for a lost cause, as I may have already said in other videos, so I enjoy nursing them back to health and growing them on. So I'll be sharing that with you as we go along. So yeah, I hope you found this short video interesting, useful, educational, I don't know, but anyway, I appreciate you watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will catch you very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.